select all, verbal quiz. How do you select all? Command A. Awesome. So I select all, delete, press delete on the keyboard. So we're going to do this, right? So we're going to create one of these rounded rectangle shapes, and then we're going to duplicate the shape, rotate it a little bit, and then the end result is going to look like these chain links are connected. How do we get this, or how do we achieve these results? So the first step is we need to create our shape. And so I'll go by the numbers that they have here in the book, because this is something that you'll be able to follow along when you're at your home. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to grab our, and I'm going to use the, instead of a rounded rectangle, I'm going to use the regular rectangle so that you can get practice on rounding those or curving those edges. So I'm going to use the regular rectangle tool, and in terms of size, let's just click once, and with this object, let's make it, let's say 2 by 2, 2 inches by 2 inches. Actually, sorry, 4 inches by 2 inches in height. Okay. In the properties panel, this is how we arrange our fill and our stroke. But the shortcut key to make this into a default black and white color is press D on your keyboard. So you press D on the keyboard, it automatically sets it to the default colors, black and white, black stroke, white fill. Okay. Now in our properties palette, we can set the fill to none by clicking on the fill and go to none. And then in the stroke section, we can increase the value or point size. So let's just say, I don't know, 15. Okay. Now, in terms of making the radius, the corner radius more rounded, we could move our mouse to one of these dots and click and drag, or in the transform palette, we go to the little 3 dots, more options, and then this is our corner radius. So we can make one corner have a value or increase the value of one corner, or with this lock icon, if we change the value of one, they all begin to change. If it's unlocked, then only one will change. Okay, so in terms of curvature, let's just bring this up to, let's say 0.75. Okay, and we'll increase the stroke to 20 point. All right, now with the stroke selected, let's go into the color options, and let's change this color to, I don't know, purple. Let's start with purple. Actually, blue, this is a blue, but it looks purple on my screen. So you can choose any color you want, but all of our shapes are gonna be a different color. So I'll put this in blue, and I'm gonna duplicate this shape, and we're gonna rotate it. So you can always go to edit, copy, edit, paste, or we could do the scale or rotate tool or whatever, but you could do transform. You could do a lot of these different things, but the easiest thing to do is to hold the option key, click and drag. Okay, and I'm using the selection tool. So option, click and drag allows you to duplicate. If you put your mouse to one of the corners, you can rotate. You can also rotate from the transform palette. So let's say we rotate this at 60 degrees or negative 60 degrees. And so let's just do that. Let's just rotate at 60 degrees, and we're just going to overlap this, and we'll try to make these things just kind of overlap here. Like we'll put it like that. And I can select both of them and move them over. So let's change this color to a different color, and you can choose any color of your choice. I'm going to choose a green. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing again for two more. So I will hold Option, duplicate, rotate. I can rotate it manually. I'll do maybe something like this, and then I'll duplicate one more time, holding Option.
And I can just kind of move these things, kind of center them a little bit, and then change the color.
So do we all have our shapes? Okay. All right. So now, if we look in our layers palette, we can see that they're all, you have properties. Properties allowed us to change the color of each one, and then we have layers. Layers allows us to see where they are in relation to each other in terms of the layer stacking order. We need to remember that whatever is in the bottom of the layer stacking order, that it is in the back, so it's least visible. Whatever's at the top of the stacking order is going to be most visible, right? So that means that anything on top, you're going to see first. Anything below, you'll see second, third, and fourth, right? So our first shape is at the bottom of the stacking order. That means that in order for us to get anything above this green, it needs to be above the green layer, right? And so that's what we have to remember in terms of how we place another line or object. Okay. So one of the other principles that we talked about earlier was the difference between the direct selection tool and the group selection tool. We established that the group selection tool selects a whole part of the group, and the direct selection tool allows us to select individual points and lines. Okay? So now what we have to do is we have to select the direct selection tool, because we want part of this line to go above the green shape. Okay? So now what we have to do is we have to establish, do we want this part to go over or this part to go over? And so you can choose either one, but for now what I would do is I'll choose the top part and I'll select that line, and basically what I want to do is the part that is going to be overlapping, I'm going to select that individual point. And what happens when you select a point is it selects the line that is to the right and to the left of that point. So it basically selects a line segment, right? So that one point is going to allow this to overlap here and over here. And when I'm going to copy it and paste it in place, and it's going to create a new line segment, right? So I'm going to go up to Edit, Copy, right? And then this is what I want to do. I want to select Paste in Front, and that's Command F. So if you were doing shortcut keys, that would be Command C for copy, and then Command F for paste in front. And so when I do that, you can see the line segment that's copied. And if you look in your layer palette, there's a path right there, and that path is the line segment that's above the rectangle that was behind. So what I need to do in Logic is I need to put this above the green shape. And so I can drag the layer, or does anyone remember the shortcut to bring it to the front or bring it front? Command right bracket. Oh my goodness, it's magic. That little piece of thing created this whole illusion that is going in and out. So, for the next part, basically, we're going to do the same thing. We need to determine whether, if this is coming in, it's coming out over here, maybe this part is going to be the part that's going above. So I can click on this point. Now what happens is it starts to get a little tricky, because if I select this point, I see that the line overlaps all the way over here. So when I bring it in front, it's not going to give me the same illusion, because this is going to come above and it's going to extend all the way here. So maybe what I want to do is choose this point, because this line segment is only going to go this big right here. So this is going to overlap the blue with ease. I don't have to try to figure out the rest of the, how do I fix it? So I'm going to select this point, edit copy or Command C, press Command C, and then Command F or edit paste in front. I see my path. I need to put this path above the blue layer. So I'm going to press Command right bracket, it moves up 1, Command right bracket again, it moves up 2. Now I want you to try that for these last two shapes. Figure out where the overlap is, where the point is that you're going to select, how you're going to copy it, and how you're going to put it above that layer. When you're done with that, for each major shape, I want you to name the layer according to the color. So using the direct selection tool, I'm selecting a point that overlaps, but it doesn't overlap both lines. So this line segment is going to stop here and it's going to stop there. So I select it, edit copy, and edit paste in front. And then in my layers property, I need to bring that above the magenta layer.